Good news for the American economy, still struggling to recover.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. If you're one of those out there scanning the horizon looking for any signs of the economic recovery the administration keeps talking about, you're not alone. It is still a dark time in many parts of the country. And today's unemployment rate for August is not encouraging, 6.8%, same as it was last month. NBC's chief financial correspondent Mike Jensen tonight on what it means. Michael?
Tom, the unemployment rate is one of the last things to improve when you're coming out of a recession. Companies don't start rehiring until business really picks up, and it hasn't. What today's figures show is a mixed bag. On the plus side, there are 60,000 new jobs in service industries and businesses, like this one in California called shoe healers.
By the end of the week, we will be in our third salon, and by the end of this year, there will be 5 shoe healers.
That's on top of 42,000 new manufacturing jobs. But the downside is 18,000 jobs lost in the wholesale trade, as well as 12,000 construction jobs.
I believe the economy, the recession, is a lot worse than a lot of people would admit to.
It's a very spotty picture. Things are better in California, Texas, and North Carolina, but worse in Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Florida. The number of hours people work rose last month very slightly, and so did overtime. But about 1 million people have gotten discouraged and stopped looking for jobs. And 6 million people who'd like to be working full-time have been forced to take part-time jobs. As a result, people aren't spending.
I lost a second job, so we're spending at least 10% less.
Retail sales last month didn't even keep up with the rate of inflation. When people did buy, they went to the big discounters. Consumers are getting squeezed. Credit card rates, which already were very high, have gone up 0.25 percentage point in the last year. But the interest banks pay to people who invest in one-year CDs has fallen 2 percentage points. Not to dwell on the bad news, but there was more of it today. A trade group said the number of people who are delinquent on their mortgages hit a 5-year high. Tom?
Thank you, Michael. This has been a ragged recession, not as severe as '82, but tough enough, and the signs of the recovery are often deceiving. NBC's Mike Betcher tonight in a Rust Belt city trying to make a comeback.
If the speed of a recovery could be measured in hamburgers per hour, then Frank's Diner would be racing ahead. 3 years after Chrysler closed its auto assembly plant, eliminating almost 6,000 jobs and plunging Kenosha, Wisconsin into a deep recession, Frank's is opening earlier to handle all the new business.
We're expanding, yeah, because we think there's a base there and we're going to make more money.
No one is getting rich. Some still don't have jobs. But at this table, 2 of 3 are working.
Things have picked up since the plant closed. I think everybody thought it was going to really go downhill.
I can't find a job. My husband lost his job a few years ago, and he was making pretty good money, and he had to take half. His wages went half, and we had to adjust to it.
After the trauma of 1988, Kenosha had to think differently about itself. Big industry and big salaries were gone forever. Small industry and smaller salaries were the only alternatives.
Just outside town, earth movers are clearing space for an expanding industrial park. Kenosha aggressively recruited light industry. But Rudy Kuzel, president of the United Auto Workers Local, believes better employment figures are deceptive.
The creation of low-wage jobs might drive down the unemployment figures, but they don't give people the ability to earn a living wage.
After 3 years of hard times, though, a Kenoshan will tell you a job is a job. Limited prosperity is better than no prosperity at all. At the Jockey Underwear Factory, business is up 22% this year. If the garment inspector says it's good, it must be.
Underwear picked up, sportswear slowed down, I guess. Looks good.
A new dog track near Kenosha is employing 840 people. Here, too, the wages are lower than at the old Chrysler plant. But people who wouldn't have bet a dime on Kenosha's future 3 years ago like the city's new odds.
Even as a long shot, I would bet on it to close and win.
There's still some distance between Kenosha and prosperity, but Kenosha is racing to catch up. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The Nightly News continues in a moment. The United States and Israel tonight, a battle brewing. And tonight's Daily Difference, Friday follow-up. When murder strikes, Bob Herbert tells how a song can mend a child's broken heart. That's when Nightly News continues.
Reintroducing a glorious name for a glorious new automobile. The 1992 Buick Roadmaster. With its powerful V8 performance and the security of its driver's airbag, anti-lock brakes, and full perimeter frame, Roadmaster is perhaps the best value in an American luxury sedan. Roadmaster also delivers something only a Buick can deliver. Buick quality.
It was a stupid mistake, but I was in a hurry. So when I finally realized my briefcase was gone, I knew I'd never find it. Worse, my wallet and cash, credit cards, and checkbook were in it, and I was out of state. Oh, for a friendly face. Thank goodness I bank at First Interstate. And thank goodness for Keith Frank. He canceled my credit cards so no one could use them, got me cash, and treated me like I was banking at home. Now that's extra mile service.
If you want extra mile service, come to First Interstate Bank. We go the extra mile for you, guaranteed.
There's more friction tonight between the United States and Israel. The Bush administration wants Israel to talk peace with its neighbors this fall. Israel wants American help in securing $10 billion to help resettle Soviet Jews. NBC's John Dancy has more on all of this tonight from the State Department. John?
Tom, the stage is set for a bruising fight between the Bush administration and Congress over the question of helping Israel. The fate of a Mideast peace conference could hang in the balance.
Israeli Ambassador Zalman Shoval brought the Israeli request for loan guarantees to the State Department late this afternoon. This despite urgent U.S. signals not to go ahead with it right now. One of those signals came from President Bush, who said today he doesn't want a bitter fight in Congress over the aid package, just as a Middle East peace conference approaches.
And let's not blow it by having an acrimonious debate that's going to be read not just in the States, but around the world is one way or another. We don't need it.
Israel badly needs the money. Soviet Jews are flooding in at a rate of 10,000 a month. By delaying the guarantees, the U.S. holds a club over the head of Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir to assure that he attends a Middle East peace conference. While Bush denied the two issues are linked, many congressmen don't believe it.
If it looks like a club and feels like a club and hurts like a club, then it's a club, no matter what the president says.
We're not holding any club at all. We are simply saying that we would like to have time to consider this a rather significant request.
And Israeli officials say the president has created linkage.
By delaying the request on the ground that it can interfere with these negotiations, a linkage was created, precisely what all of us say we want to avoid.
The fight has already started. Secretary of State Baker today lobbied Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Claiborne Pell to support the delay. Politics?
As you all know, we do nothing here that is political.
The fate of the peace conference could depend on the outcome of the battle. Give the aid, and the Arabs could pull out, accusing the U.S. of favoritism. Don't give the aid, and the Israelis could pull out, figuring they had little to lose. Tom?
Thank you, John. The European community plan to convene a peace conference tomorrow on Yugoslavia still is on tonight, although fighting in that country continues to escalate daily. Yugoslavia is a patchwork of rival ethnic territories. Now, without a strong center, it is unraveling and violently. NBC's Charles McLean.
Croatian militiamen, low on ammunition, shooting their way through Serbian-controlled territory. Countryside they once considered their own, now a dangerous no man's land. The fighting in Yugoslavia is starting to look less like a small-scale ethnic conflict and more like what it really is, the first full-fledged war on European soil since World War II. Buildings have been shelled, bridges have been blown, churches have been hit by tank fire as Serbs and Croats fight for precious real estate in the breakaway Republic of Croatia. and more than 300 lives have been lost. 24 bodies of Croats, apparently massacred by Serbian guerrillas, were discovered yesterday in a village in eastern Croatia. More Croat victims were buried today in nearby Osijek. Croatian nationalists, eager for independence from Yugoslavia, could not have expected such grief.
I expect that we shall have trouble, but I didn't expect in such a dimension. I couldn't imagine that Serbian policy would be so irrational.
Irrational or not, Serbian guerrillas now control almost a quarter of Croatia. They're gaining territory on the battlefield they'd be unlikely to get at the negotiating table, so it'll be hard for European peacemakers to convince them to stop fighting. The European Community Peace Conference will give Yugoslavia's neighbors an opportunity to condemn the violence here, but it's not likely to stop the killing. After months of bloodshed and centuries of hatred, it'll be difficult now for Serbs and Croats to live together in peace. Charles McLean, NBC News, Zagreb.
And in the Soviet Union today, there were these developments as that country continues to reinvent itself. Moscow formally recognized the Baltic states' independence, ending more than a half-century of domination. And it is now official. As of October 1st, Leningrad will once again be called St. Petersburg. Still to come in this country, the bottom line meets the big screen.
I heard, but I'll be back.
I know.
Count me out when you make a mistake.
I know, Mr. Connors.
My doc says ibuprofen for body pain. The medicine, a Nuprin.
My trainer, too.
Got a Nuprin.
Nupit. Nupit with Nuprin.
Strong stuff.
Just takes one.
Even a young guy like you uses it.
I Nupit.
This party ain't over, kid.
For back, joint, or muscle pain.
Nupit.
Nupit.
With Nuprin.
The body pain medicine.
It melts, it pours, it cooks just right. Less fat, great taste, Velveeta light. So rich, so smooth is every bite. That's why you love Velveeta light. All this exquisite taste and looks and mountability. It's got 1/3 less fat and low cholesterol. Cook with a lighter look tonight. With new Velveeta light.
Does it take a major expedition to get something in your refrigerator? Would you say that finding things isn't exactly a piece of cake? You should explore Frigidaire Elite. Refrigerators so intelligently designed, they practically hand you what you're looking for. And are the most energy efficient we've ever built. After all, it's not just a fridge. It's a Frigidaire.
Our Daily Difference tonight, Friday follow-up, concluding this week's look at America's cities. The violence of city life these days can be numbing, but behind the war zone statistics are human tragedies, children victimized by the murder of a loved one. What happens to them? NBC's Bob Herbert.
Get a bunch of kids together, and very often they'll sing. But this is different. These kids sing to heal the ache in their hearts. As life has changed in America's cities, so have the needs of children.
When you cry, I'll cry with you.
These youngsters from New York belong to a choir set up solely for the children of murder victims. Melanie Rosario is 13. Her older sister, Annette, was abducted, murdered, and dumped in some woods 5 years ago. The killer has never been caught.
I feel hurt, you know, because other people have their brothers and sisters, and some other kids, they don't have their brothers or sisters or mothers and fathers with them because somebody murdered them.
The Children of Homicide Victims Corral, part of the Victim Services Agency, was set up to help these youngsters. Children like Dashelle Johnson, whose mother was shot to death last year, or Anna Mae West, whose brother was shot to death in 1988, or 6-year-old Salathiel Brown, whose father, a cab driver, was killed last year on the job.
My dad used to take me to school. He used to pick me up. He used to make food for us.
He used to let me go outside, but he ain't here no more.
The impact of murder is much greater than other kinds of death. Murder doesn't just kill, it taints the victim and the victim's family, and it scares the rest of us. So we distance ourselves from the families of murder victims, and this can leave the children isolated. Other children often refuse to play with them, so they play among themselves. Anna Mae was taunted at school because she continued to talk about her brother even after he was dead.
But when she came here, it's not strange to her anymore to talk about her brother because everybody's been through the same thing.
For parents and children alike, the grief that follows a murder seems to go on and on. Even after 5 years, Melanie Rosario longs for her sister.
I just think about the good times that we had when she was here, alive.
She clings to the corral. She says that singing with the other children helps.
It would show people, you know, how hurt we were when we lost one of our family members, you know. And it would help us sing out all the sadness inside of us.
Sometimes something happens, and then you walk in the car.
So the children sing, and they hope. A song has been written especially for the corral. It's called We Will Laugh Again.
We will laugh again.
Bob Herbert, NBC News, New York.
We will laugh again.
It is now estimated that 3.5 million Americans have lost a family member to homicide.
My dad had ulcers, so when my stomach started acting up, I was afraid to go to the doctor. But finally, I went. Was I relieved when my doctor said Mylanta? He said it was indigestion, not an ulcer, and my kind of indigestion called for strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. In fact, Mylanta is the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Now available in cherry and cool mint cream flavors.
Accidents? I don't even think about them anymore.
Introducing new improved Attends undergarments. Now the best protection you can get, even when you move. That's because unlike others, new Attends has a snug, secure shape and fits high at the waist, not low. What's more, it also has a special absorbent pad built right in with 50% more super absorbent material. So it absorbs more than ever before to help protect you better against leaks. All in all, it's the best protection you can get.
Life doesn't stand still, and now I don't either. I've switched to Attends.
New improved Attends. Now the best protection is Attends protection. For a free sample, call 1-800-4-ATTENDS.
Dear Thompsons, midway through waterproofing, I ran out of Thompson's water seal and finished with another brand. Then it rained. You could see the difference. Thompson's worked. The other side looked like I hadn't used a thing. Nothing tops Thompson's. Sincerely, Marcia Jackalone.
On the surface, it's a perfect neighborhood. But beneath the surface, there could be trouble brewing in the septic system. Ask anyone who's had a backup. Regular maintenance, including Rid-X, helps keep your septic system free-flowing and helps prevent backup. Use Rid-X once a month.
Now's the time for Centrum Silver, because you're over 50 and you're out there swinging. Centrum Silver, a complete vitamin formula for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
The Unisys Corporation pleaded guilty today to bribery, fraud, and other charges stemming from the Pentagon defense contract scandal. It will pay a record $190 million in fines. Now here's a quick check of today's other news. A federal grand jury indicted former CIA official Claire George on charges that he lied to Congress about the role of the CIA in the Iran-Contra affair. North Carolina officials called for a criminal investigation of the fire that killed 25 people at a food processing plant. They said locked or blocked doors contributed to the death toll. 2 fire exits could not be used. And at a church in Southern California, friends and family said goodbye to Frank Capra, who died on Tuesday at 94. The famed film director was remembered as one of the most loved people in Hollywood. The Hollywood that Frank Capra leaves behind is going through tough times these days. hits like Terminator 2 notwithstanding. NBC's Diana Karicki tonight reports how the industry is being forced to take its cues from the bottom line.
Big can be beautiful in Hollywood. At $90 million plus, Terminator 2 is the most expensive movie ever made. Here's the beauty of it. It's already earned 2 times its cost.
Hasta la vista, baby.
But making blockbuster movies is a huge gamble. Sometimes they pay off, more often they don't. The risk was easier to take when the studios were awash in money. Now it's harder.
Excuse us, man! This year, studio profits are down, production costs are up, and audiences are staying away.
The only good Hollywood film I saw was Terminator 2, which I liked, but otherwise...
Movie makers are terrified of overspending on films that may not succeed. Like this year's most expensive flop, Hudson Hawk.
I got a bad feeling.
Movie makers are cutting corners. Batman was filmed in England, the sequel on Warner's back lot. And they're firing executives. Headhunter Brad Marks.
We have as many as 75 calls we receive a day from unemployed people who are looking for jobs.
But Hollywood hasn't given up on blockbusters. Robin Hood cost $54 million to make, $8 million going to Kevin Costner. It's made $250 million worldwide.
More stars have helped films than hurt films. The bottom line is that the system, if you will, has been willing to pay the money.
And hard times may discipline movie makers.
The studios and the producers have gone back to a little bit better quality. Those films are in the pipeline now.
Hollywood is ever optimistic, hoping extravaganzas like the upcoming Hook will lure audiences back in. Diana Karicki, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Tonight's NBC News program Expose today prompted South Carolina Governor Carol Campbell to order criminal investigations into hiring practices for migrant workers in his state. Correspondent Brian Ross shows workers being paid in crack cocaine and liquor. Tonight's other Expose report is about canned hunts, the illegal killing of endangered species on American ranches.
Okay, I wouldn't go any further than that.
That's a Bengal tiger in the shade. The Bengal tiger is an endangered species, a tame trophy for a kill fee of $3,000 to $5,000.
This type of hunt, we call them canned hunts. It just simply means that you've got a guaranteed hunt. You go out there and all you have to have is the money, and they'll make sure you kill whatever it is you want. The business of taking something in a cage and turning it loose in front of a hunter, I don't see why anyone would think that's something that should be allowed.
The shooter is Dr. Sonny Milstead, an orthopedic surgeon from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Dr. Milstead, did you know that it was an endangered species, the Bengal tiger?
It was my understanding when that was taken that it was legal. That's all I can say.
This is home video of a Texas hunt that set a standard for cruelty. An endangered black leopard is the prey. Agent Steinbaugh.
When they turned the cat out, the cat never had a chance from the start.
Never had a chance. It had been declawed. The only thing the hunter had to worry about was shooting the pack of dogs. Some of the animals never made it out of their cages. They were shot right there. This animal obviously was hit at close range and not even a very clean shot. It looks like it was shot through the shoulder in some fashion.
It's Bengal tiger. In the past, we've seen just the hide alone going on the black market for up to $15,000, $20,000.
Expose tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central Time. On Wall Street today, the Dow Industrial is closed up a bit in active trading, but for the week, the Dow was off almost 32 points.
The Financial Report has been brought to you by Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the future.
Risk. As hard as it is to live with, it's impossible to live without. At Merrill Lynch, we know that risk can be dealt with. It can be managed. It can even be turned to your advantage. To do that, you need a partner. A partner who understands it and can help you turn a world of risk into a world of opportunity. Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the future.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America.
Introducing the 1992 LeSabre. With a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
Oh my God.
Think about your daydreams and what you would do if you won 10 million out of the blue. Imagine the bell rings, the winner is you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Poison ivy, insect bites, rashes. Too many choices.
You only need one. Cordade.
Stop the itch and heal the rash with a brand doctors recommend most.
Present Arms.
Cordade, the only aid you need.
Extra Strength Maalox Plus, the strongest antacid there is, now comes in extra strength tablets. Stronger than Tums, stronger than Rolaids. New Extra Strength Maalox Plus, now in tablets. My doctor told me it's the strongest. My stomach tells me it's fast.
This nation of immigrants, the American dream. Well, as NBC's Fred Briggs tells us tonight, that dream has a new twist.
Welcome to America.
They still want to be U.S. citizens, hundreds of thousands every year, just as they did early in the century, bringing little more than a dream in a suitcase. But on October 1st, a door will open for a new category of immigrant, 10,000 of them, those who bring money. Visas will be given to foreigners who invest at least $1 million in starting a new business that employs at least 10 people. After 2 years, the investor can become a U.S. citizen.
It's sort of turning the usual statement around. It's not what can America do for the immigrant, but what can the immigrant do for the United States.
Congress took its cue from Canada, which has given landed immigrant status to foreigners who invested at least $500,000 in that country. Thousands, particularly Chinese from Hong Kong, have invested in Vancouver and Toronto. This has created thousands of jobs, too, which wasn't lost on Congress, although some said it was yet another step in the selling of America.
But for us to crassly say if you got $1 million, you can become an American citizen, offends me deeply, and I hope it does you.
The opposition faded after the law was changed to ensure that 1/3 of such visas would go to those investing in depressed areas of the country.
As a matter of fact, some of the states view this as an economic development tool, so they've shown considerable interest.
But whatever happened to give me you're tired, you're poor? Immigration lawyer Lawrence Bastone, a grandchild of immigrants, says they'll still be coming, but
There's no reason on earth why we can't occasionally take the wide awake and not so poor.
and their huddled dollars yearning to be invested. Fred Briggs, NBC News.
That's Nightly News for Friday. Gary Cutley tomorrow night. I'll see you again on Monday. Tonight.
Oprah like you've never seen before. Her real-life problems.
Why am I eating this when I'm really not hungry?
Her love life.
Stedman cares for me.
The tell-all interview America's been waiting for. On the season premiere of Real Life with Jane Pauley. Then endangered animals killed for profit. Tom Brokaw investigates on expose following Real Life tonight.
Katie's coming back to Today.
Katie Couric's coming back.
Isn't that fantastic?
Welcome back
To NBC's Today Show.
We'll see you soon.
Monday.
Television too hot to turn off.
A Current Affair, weeknights at 7.
Followed by Channel 8's Good Evening at 7:30.